It is common knowledge cats are absolute carnivores. Yet not too long ago, a woman decided to make her cat a vegetarian. The poor cat died. Why? Because cats need the nutrients found in meats in order to live. So too do human beings. It doesn't matter to the cat what that meat is. Well, let me walk that one back a bit. Cleo, being the goddess of this household, has her preferences. Beef. She doesn't even kill or eat the mice she catches. She makes them her toys. Oh yes, cats can be cruel, but all life on Earth can kill, and much of it does kill. Mostly they kill for food. But poisonous plants can kill us, either by mistake or somebody wants us dead. But plants don't eat us, but we eat plants. Fish can kill and eat us, and we can kill and eat fish. A cow, which is an herbivore, can kill you if you mess with her. In fact, cows kill 20 to 22 people per year. Half of those kills are pure aggression on the cow's part. But cows don't eat us. Of course, we eat them. So I wonder, is this killing us some sort of revenge thing? Sharks kill about 10 people per year. Well, at least they might eat us, so we're not wasted meat. And of course, we can eat the shark. The shark, as a carnivore, we expect them to be aggressive. Hey, they get hungry and we come and swim in their way, so it's humans for lunch. Don't take it personally. Just hope you taste good. Where I live, the residents tend to be cat lovers. In addition to our own kitties, we take care of the feral cats. I think of the feral cats as the original hunter-gatherers. Unlike Cleo, when hungry, they will eat anything that is dead. In fact, the other day as I was walking along the drive, I saw two of the ferals eating mushed up roadkill. Ew! When I walked by them, they skedaddled. When I was far enough away, I turned back and watched them. Oh yes, they had gone back to eating their roadkill. Ancient humans did the same thing. They ate whatever was available to them. In fact, there was a time, a million so years ago, when we ate all our foods raw. It was steak tartare for everybody. Why? Because humans didn't know how to control fire. About 800,000 years ago, they figured it out, how to start a fire and control that fire. We moderns know that there is a difference between cooked food and raw food, both in taste and chemistry. Eating cooked food changed us. We became smarter. Our brains grew. It is further suggested by researchers that the one food cooked that made us smarter was starchy food. Oh, I know you anti-carb people didn't like that last sentence, but please pass the potatoes and bread. I suggest that learning to control fire was the first huge development of humanity. And we've come a long way since then. In our modern world, we not only control fire, but our diets as well. Our ancestors were like the feral cats. It doesn't matter what the food is, it just has to fill the belly. They weren't concerned with plaque in the veins or diabetes or being overweight. The big concern they had was finding sources of food and then hanging out in the location where the deer and the antelope play. The hunter-gatherers who did not live in caves lived in tents or movable housing. Many of the first Americans had 2 semi-permanent villages, one for the winter and one for the summer. They did this because the deer go south in the winter, and so too should you. Well, the rule of thumb is where there's warmth, there's food. Our ancestors had to contend with ice ages. Oh, it's hard to fish in a pond or a lake that's frozen solid. And then there's very little grass for the herbivores to graze on. No herbivores, no meat, no grains, fruits, or nuts either. The ice ages were killers. When the body is in starvation mode, men and women become infertile. Babies in the womb cannot be nourished, so they die. Children die. Anthropologists suggest that the hunter-gatherers of Europe almost went extinct during the Ice Age. We moderns, we are spoiled with our constant supply of food. So spoiled, we overeat. If we don't cook, we buy prepared and processed foods and have it delivered to us by such companies as DoorDash. Many humans have gotten a bit lazy. No wonder we grow obese. To counteract this mass of processed foods, we get into some strange diets. You know what I refer to: keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarianism, intermittent fasting, and now the newest one on the block, fruitarian. What is that? Fruitarians are vegans. They do not eat any animal products. They eat raw fruit. 50% of the diet is raw fruit, no applesauce. Some eat 90% raw fruit. The other foods that are allowed are nuts, grains, and veggies. The theory behind the fruit diet is that it is fats that cause diabetes, not the overeating of fructose and sucrose. Well, it is true that the fiber in fruit will cut down the cholesterol, and fruits have all sorts of vitamins that we need. But a diet of 90% fruit? Americans have this proclivity for radical behaviors. That includes our strange eating habits. Why is that? Why is it that moderns have made eating so complicated? We don't know who we are anymore. My theory is that we are cut off not only from nature, but from our past as well. Our technology gives us plenty of knowledge, but wisdom? Wisdom is on shaky ground. Moderns don't have the unifiers that we used to have, like shared customs, culture, and religion. This disunity began with the Enlightenment and the concept of individualism. We are no longer a part of the whole. We are all different and into ourselves. But then another concept of the Enlightenment kind of shook up that idea, and that was the one that said, you're all created equal. But that's sort of a dichotomy, because that suggests we are alike and part of the whole. Next thing we did was kill off the gods, and everybody gets to make up their own standards of behavior, which opened the door to not so nice people telling us what the standards were going to be. They bully us, lie to us, and convince us that things like the mass production of foods is the way to live life. They even make stuff in a factory that they call food. They're full of chemicals and sugars, and they are not food. Food is nutritious, not this stuff. And when we get sick from eating too much of it, they make money off of that as well. They sell us pills that are nutrients to make up for the stuff we don't get in their fake food. And if that doesn't work, there's always a medicinal pill for us to take. If our ancestors ate only fruit, it was because that was the food that was available to them. On some days it might be fish, because that's what they could get their hands on. The difference between us and our hunter-gatherer ancestors is that when they were without red meat, they couldn't get the nutrients they needed, like zinc and vitamin B12. They had no supplements. That's one reason why they didn't live a long life. Our ancestors didn't eat a paleo diet because it was cool. That's their lifestyle. Some modern eaters of a paleo diets do hunt their own meat, but not all the time. Once humans established themselves on farms, their animal protein sources and their starch as well became more consistent. Villages then grew up around the farms. Life became more sedentary. However, people didn't live long enough to get the diseases we get, like diabetes and cancers associated with diet. And then the farmers and cooks learned how to preserve food. The episodes of starvation lessened. In fact, during the Middle Ages, some people grew a little fat, especially those monks making all that brandy. We still need the same nutrients that our ancestors did. So I suggest we stick with a basic diet. I call it the return to a natural way of eating. The mass production of food is not a good idea, but extreme diets are not such a good idea either. They are not sustainable. They work only because you have supplements to cover any nutrients you may be missing. Perhaps you'd like to learn to cook in the old ways. Well, unfortunately, the hunter-gatherers have left us no recipes. There are, however, a few books on old Roman cooking. Epicus is one. It's full of recipes, plus essays on the way and what the Romans ate. Would you have guessed that the Romans probably invented the cheesecake? Made from ricotta cheese, of course. Yummy! Ricotta cheese has less fat and is richer in proteins, selenium, calcium, zinc, phosphorus, and vitamin B12 than cream cheese. What could go wrong? Essentially, eating in the old Roman way is the Mediterranean diet. Heart doctors and dietitians recommend it. Plus, ha un buon sapore. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go bake a ricotta cheesecake. Thanks for watching the History Desk.